Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Kuntres, mine, Chaf Hey, of Chaf Ches. We're coming close to the end of here. We'll start by giving tzedakah. Tzedakah, Shemekarav Zagula. And we're davening for everyone needs to be davening for. The Ever Shem Refuah Shlema. We're also going to focus on Lotan ben Naami. It's Hashem, Lotan ben Naami should be healthy and safe with all hostages and all the yidden Israel and all the soldiers and all yidden around the world. I should have Gula take it from Yad Mamish through our Aveda. And this is what we're learning. And we're getting to the end, and he's bringing it down into very practical basis. Okay. So now we're going to discuss what does it mean, nature, quote unquote. We'll start reading, and then I'm going to give a story. Like the Alter explains in Sefer Tanya, in Parak Tes, the shame Teva. What does it mean when we say Teva, nature? Hu Toya Levad. It's just a descriptive term. What when we say nature, what are we actually saying? What is above our understanding? The sun goes around, so that's nature. Do we really understand it? Yeah, I'm no scientist, and I haven't studied the sun, so I don't know what science has to say about all this. But in simple English, what he's saying is nature is things that happen that we don't, that because they happen constantly, so we look at it, well, it's nothing special. Vanivraim hine mitzad hargilus vatmidos she'ashemesh zereach b'mizrach v'shikav ma'arav. The fact that we see the sun always going from east to west, or west to east, I don't remember, from Mizrach, from east, the Ma'arav to west, and that's how it goes. So that's nature, because it happens every day. Not that we understand it. It's just, if it's consistent enough, so we just, that's how life is. That's what he's saying. When we say nature, we're not saying this is because godliness is not revealed. Godliness doesn't exist here. It's something that godliness doesn't connect with, and this is just something else. We're just saying that this is how it is, and we don't know why, and we don't think about why. This is everything. The godliness is concealed in different types of garments. So we don't get excited from this because that's called nature. Yeah, naturally you put seeds in the ground, you water it, the sun comes and it grows, and that's just how it works. It's nature. But you need, in order to be able to appreciate that it's godliness, you need to meditate, you have to think about, and then you can recognize the truth, the complete truth, which is the teva atzma teva. Nature itself is above nature. Nature is not just, it's just what it is. But nature is phenomenal. I'll tell you a story very soon. But to recognize that what you're seeing, which you call nature, is actually above nature, ain't a move on. It's not understood, like just simply. You have to really meditate and think about it. Meaning when you just look at the world around you, you can make this mistake. Look around, whatever. This is nature. God made it. Like, why? That's how things work. The sun goes around, plants grow, things get grown. There's rocks. Not just nature. But only when you meditate, you recognize a real truth. That nature itself is above nature. So I remember, quick story. I remember years ago, I was Mifsayim, and I spoke to a guy. I don't remember the whole story, but I remember he telling me something that really stuck with me. He said that his wife, talking about God, I don't know how we got into the discussion, but he said that his wife believes in God. Why? Because she watched National Geographic. So I was like, what happened? So there's a National Geographic of the food chain going from a 2-cell organism, a 1-cell organism, through the process, all the way to the top of the food chain. And so showing how this animal eats this animal, and this animal eats these animals, and it grows. So all the animals can survive, and everything has its process. And this is what we call nature. But what we're saying here is when you meditate, when she saw this video, show how amazingly everything works, and how the fact that the lion is able to survive connects to the fact that the 2-cell organism is able to eat whatever it can eat, and that it's being eaten by whatever's above it, and how perfectly everything works. She was blown away, and she's like, "Yeah, like it got me by chance. Just magically it happens, And it's a simple point. You look at the world, and you say it's amazing. The sun is 8 light years or minutes, light years away. It's very, very far. It will take us a long time to get there. And then you have this like cloud, and then it's not too hot, not too cold, a little bit. The weather changes, patterns so small. And if the sun, which is, this is a fact, the sun moved a little bit more forward, it was a little closer to us, like 1 foot, 2 feet, it would be way too hot and would all extinguish out of existence. It's like wild. So yeah, the sun goes around, and all these things happen. But the truth of the matter is that everything is a likus. And this is what he's saying. When we stop and think, like, wow. And this is part of the, what's the name? Ashkacha Pratis. When you look at everything and you recognize it's not just stuff happening, and you look at and so you think, whatever, things happen. It's like, no. Everything is exact. Every leaf, every little bit, but to recognize it and to say not just God, it's like the famous story. The guy, Gordon's father, spoke to a guy about putting tefillin in the hospital, whatever. And the guy was like, "No, I'm not interested." So he said to him, "No, I see you reading the newspaper." So he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "How did those words get on the page?" He's like, "I mean, of course, someone typed it up." He goes, "No." Because when I was driving here, a ink truck overturned on a paper truck, and it spritched out on the page, and it's what you got, these letters. So the guy's like, "Wow, you crazy?" I'm like, "Of course that didn't happen. That's impossible." Well, just randomly, these two things hit each other, and suddenly you have like this whole newspaper with all these words. It's impossible. So he said to him, "Oh, very good. So that's impossible. Then how can you say just, God doesn't exist? Everything just naturally happened, just happened by itself." And the guy's like, "Rabbi, you got me. Let's put on film." But the point is, what we're learning here is nature is lamayim mitav. We don't, it's just concealed. And when we think about it and meditate upon it, then we can recognize the truth that it's all godliness. That's what we're saying. That's everything in nature. That you have to meditate to see godliness. But this is everything that's included within nature. So you see nature and you say, not godly. Godliness is not in the nature. And when you see a miracle, sure, that's God, that's concealed. Because Aval, Kel, Hagalu, the revealed God, meaning like miracles open revealed, in afena gelachkeit, in different ways of godliness, revealing God, Hare nira v'nigla l'chol, it's revealed to everyone. Ve'ein tzarich malzeh shum hizbeinus, you don't have to meditate at all. You see an open miracle, open miracles happen all the time to us, and you see it, and it's like, it's a question. And I'm sure if everyone, but in general, even the miracles that we see, we have to learn to be sensitive to see it. But if you pay attention, and if you ask yourself, you might say, "Oh, me, I don't get any miracle. We're talking miracles." No. But if you stop and you think and you recognize different things, there's miracles happening all the time. And really, that's really what it is. Kitzer. This is being that the chesed that was set aside for us on Rosh Hashanah Kippur has to come down and become megushim, become physical, through getting included in the lower spheres of Atzilus to Bria Yitzir Nasiyah. It's clear by us, and because of this concealments that it causes to come down, we also have to do something for it. So we have to make a vessel. We have to do work. Shiur b'levushe teva, teva hu elikus, and it should be in nature. Now, nature really is godliness. Hamustar umusag mechlalusay al-yidei hisbeinus, which is concealed and understood in general through meditating. Because in truth, it is above nature. Whereas revealed godliness, you don't need to meditate. You see it; it's clear. But other ones you don't see. A simple example of it is it's come out that in the war in Gaza, people telling the Israeli army that you don't have a chance of being able to fight in Gaza. It's too intense, too hard. You're going to have too many casualties. It's not really shaykh. That's what they got told like a few months before the war. And now the war's happening. Everyone is shocked, and people don't talk about it because public they hide this. But all the armies are trying to go to Israel and trying to figure out how they managed to do this and how successful they've been and how they're able to be so successful. The public talks, and the public media says all these negative things about Israel, but as an army and fulfilling the mission in a way that doesn't kill as many civilians as other armies do, and so successful. It's something that the other armies are trying to learn from Israel. So we should be very proud. But what do you see? That's a miracle. That is a clear miracle. And a famous story that's coming out that it was a guy that was very frum in his unit, and he saw everyone was walking. He got out of a tank and all walking. It was like 100, 150 guys, and he turned around to see what time mincha was. See if it was still down mincha, and he's like down mincha. He's like, I want to quickly down mincha. So he was going to start down mincha, and everyone was facing that way forwards, and he was facing backwards. And he was facing backwards. As about to start Shemona Esrei, he sees something moving in the bushes, and then he sees a terrorist come out with an RPG, which RPG can, if I'm not mistaken, can destroy the tank, can do a lot of damage. And so he was facing the other way, going to Dam Mincha. So he managed to see him, managed to eliminate him, and everyone was saved and nothing bad happened. Partially a miracle. Because he was davening Mincha, no one else, and no one would have seen it. Because he went to go down Mincha, it's an open miracle. For that guy, there's no shilas, there's no questions. I guess I'm thinking we'll stop here. We won't go. I'll tell you one more story, another good story, and then we'll start tomorrow in Perek Beis. Basically, another story, there's one time there was a guy in Eretz Yisrael, he was doing Miftaim. He met this guy, and he's like, I was putting tefillin. So the guy's like, no, I'm not putting tefillin. He goes, but I'll tell you a crazy story. He goes, I was backpacking with my friend in the Amazon. It's very famous that Israelis, after the army service, they go traveling around the world. They make some money, and they try to see the world. It's explore, for whatever reason. So this guy was in the Amazon rainforest, and him and his friends weren't religious at all. And suddenly, he noticed his friend, there's an anaconda wrapping itself around him. Now, the way these snakes work, they're huge, and they wrap themselves around you slowly. And basically, they just constrict your ability to breathe. So when you take a breath, they tighten. So you lose the ability to breathe, and they just kill you. and it's too strong to do anything about. So he sees his friend doing this, like having his friend, and he's trying to help him, and nothing helping. And his friend is partially dying in front of his eyes. And his friend has there's nothing left to do, and he screams out, not religious or anything, he screams out, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Hashem Echad, and suddenly the snake stops and gets off him. And he was like, whoa, like, crazy, blown away. And his friend became from that whole incident, that guy became from. But the one that saw it, he didn't become from. He was one that asked him to put in tefillin. So he says, my friend became from this whole story. So he says, 1 second. Like, you were there, you saw the miracle, why aren't you from? So he goes, it didn't happen to me. So this is the problem of Teva. We look at things and we don't see the godliness. This is an open miracle, but we choose not to see it. And this is Teva. Teva is open miracle. The fact that we survive every day, we live, the fact that the sun gets up and goes down, and the moon gets up and goes down, and things grow, we survive, and we have money in our bank accounts, and we have a roof over our head, and chas v'shalom, anything bad happens, it's a miracle. And we call it nature. Nature is, I'll go to bed and I'll wake up. Nature is, the sun will go up and it'll go down and it'll go up again. That's nature. But it's not natural. That's godly. And this is what we're saying. We just have to pay attention to that. And then everything changes. And I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful. And this also helps us with gratitude. I'm so grateful the sun came up. It didn't have to come up. So and this is sort of, so grateful. I have a roof over my head today. It could have been different, chas v'shalom. And unfortunately, there's plenty of people in the world that things happen. And, I don't want to, Baruch Hashem, it's not us. Anyway, shall have an amazing day. We should be able to see the godliness in the nature. And we should have only good. Have an amazing day.